Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to start with the fourth chapter that is given in your textbook, and that says effects of electric current. So we are going to cover three main points, that is electric transfer in an electric circuit, second heating effect of electric current, and third magnetic effects of electric current. So let's recall that you have already learned in your previous classes. So the first question says here, how do we decide that a given material is a good conductor of electricity or it is an insulator? So you know that whenever a material allows to flow electricity through it means that it is a good conductor of electricity, and if it resists the flow of electricity through it, then it is an insulator. That means it is dependent upon the resistance of the material. If the resistance is very high, that means it is an insulator, and if the resistance is very low or negligible, then it is a good conductor of electricity. Next, iron is a conductor of electricity. Right, we know that. But when we pick up a piece of iron resting on the ground, why don't we get an electric shock? So the answer to this is, if the electricity is passing through the rod, then and only then we will get the shock. If the electricity is not passing through the rod, then how are we going to get the shock? Right? So until and unless the electricity passes through the electric conductor, that is the iron, we even if we pick up the rod, we are not going to get any electric shock. Okay. So next it says, we have learned in earlier standards about static electricity. We performed various experiments regarding the negatively and positively charged objects. So electricity is nothing but it consists of electrons, and those are negatively charged electrons. The reason behind the object becoming positively and negatively charged is the transfer of negatively charged particles from one object to the other object, and that is nothing but the electric current. In previous standard, we have also studied about the electric current. In this chapter, we will study about the electric current flowing through the conducting wire and electric current flowing through a resistor, electromagnetic induction, and electric motor and generator. Now do not get scared with these big names. These are really easy and fun loving topics. You're going to study this entire chapter with many experiments, and these will be relatable to your day-to-day life, and therefore this chapter is really interesting and easy. So let's move forward. Observe and discuss. So what does this activity here says? What do you observe in the following pictures? Which effect of electric current do you find? So in the picture A, what do you see here? That a lamp is connected to some switch. The television is also connected to some switch, and here the smaller lamp is also connected to some switch. Therefore from this from this picture you can conclude that to light up any device, to light up a lamp or to on a television, you require the flow of electricity through the wire, and you need that electric current for it. What does the second picture show you? The second picture is the picture of a moving fan, which means the moving fan is also requiring the electricity, and therefore due to the electric current passing through it, the motor inside the fan is rotating, and therefore the blades of the fan are rotating. The third picture here is a man pressing a bell button, the doorbell button. So how does the doorbell ring? So there also the electric current is associated with it, and that electric current is provided by the battery that is provided in the circuit. So when you press the button of the electric bell, what happens is the motor rotates itself, and after rotating the motor, this knob which you can see gets hit on this disc, which produces a sound of bell ringing, and that is why you hear the bell ringing. Next, energy transfer in an electric circuit. Now, as I've told you, this chapter consists of many experiments, and these experiments are really easy to learn and to understand the concept behind these topics. So let's look into this experiment. Though now the material required for this experiment is connecting wires, which are obviously required, cells which will provide electricity or which will provide energy, then electric resistance, voltmeter, ammeter and plug key. Okay, so the procedure says connect the circuit as shown in the accompanying figure after taking the components with proper values. Measure the current I. So what do you have to do? You have to measure the current I. Also measure the potential difference between the two ends, point A and point B of resistance. Now we'll go straight away to this diagram which they have given us to look into. Now what have they asked? You need to measure the potential difference between the points A and points B. Okay, and you need to measure the current. So current is measured by what? Current is measured by the ammeter and the voltage is measured by the voltmeter, right? So if a charge Q flows from A to B, work VAB into Q is done. Now first of all, let me explain you this electric circuit. So this is the cell which they told you that it will be used in the circuit. They have told you that electric cells will be used, and this is nothing but your electric cell. Now this is the positive end of the cell and this is the negative end of the cell. You know that actually the electrons flow from negative to positive, but the current flows from positive to negative. So therefore we actually show the flow of current from positive to negative, right? This is the key which is always present in your circuit to start or stop the flow of current through the wires. Next, what is given here? This is the resistance R. You know what is resistance? This is nothing but the hurdles that you find in the flow of electricity. Now, this resistance is very similar to the hurdle race which you have participated in your childhood. Like what happens in the hurdle race? They keep some obstacles in between and you have to run through those obstacles to reach the end. Now these obstacles are similar to the resistance that is given here. So you need to measure the voltage across this resistance using the voltmeter, and we know that the voltmeter is always connected parallelly to the resistor. So you can see that this is similar to the parallel lines. So therefore it is connected, we say that it is connected parallelly. Next, the ammeter is always connected in series with the resistor. So it is connected in a straight line, and therefore we say that this ammeter is connected in series. Now they have asked you to find the potential difference. Now what do you mean by the potential difference between the points A and B? Now what can I say, like there's a potential, the potential for the current to flow at point A. What is the potential? See, there's a potential at point A for the current to flow. Next, at point B, there's some different potential of the current to flow from point B. Now when you want to take the difference between the potential at point A of the current and the potential of current at the point B, then this potential difference is nothing but V of A minus V of B, and that is denoted by VAB. So now you will understand that if a charge Q flows from point A to B, work VAB into Q is done. You know that in your previous classes you have learned that the formula for work is voltage into the charge. So charge is Q and VAB is nothing but the voltage across points A and point B. From where does this energy come to do the work? Now, the energy is given by this cell, that is the source of energy is the battery or the cell you say. Therefore, they have given the source of energy is the cell. The cell gives this energy through the charge Q to the resistance where VAB into Q work is performed. Okay. If the Q charge flows from point A to point B in time t. So, the charge that is flowing from point A to point B in some time t. Then the work is performed in that time, and during that time the energy VAB is given to the resistor. Now how can we relate this to our hurdle race? So when you are running a race, that is the hurdle race, you consume a little more energy during those hurdles part, right? During those hurdles or obstacles, your most of the energy is consumed there, and as a result, when you're after crossing that hurdles, your level of energy comes down. So your potential to run at the start of the race was a much higher, and your potential to run after the race becomes a little lower because you have consumed a lot of energy during those hurdles part, right? Same thing happens here in the electric circuit. The potential at point A will be little higher, the potential at point B will be little lower, and most of the energy, that is VAB into Q, will be consumed in this resistance part. Therefore, it is written that if the charge Q flows from point A to B in time t, that is the work is performed in time t, during that time energy VAB into Q is given to the resistor. Okay, so what happens to this energy? You know, while running through the race, what happens to you when you're crossing those hurdles? Lot of energy is consumed. As a result, what happens? You start sweating, you start giving out your heat into the atmosphere. The same thing is happening to the resistor here. This energy is received by the resistor and is converted into heat energy. The temperature of the resistance is increased. So did you understand that? The temperature of the resistance increases, and as a result, what happens? The resistor gets heated up. So what I have told you, in this experiment you had to measure the voltage between points A and B through the voltmeter, and the ampere, from the ampere you have to measure the current flowing through the wire. Okay, so now we'll go to the next part, that is use your brain part. So what does this say? If in a circuit resistor is replaced by a motor, in which form will the energy given to the cell get transformed into? Now in this case, the energy was transformed into heat energy, that is the resistor gets heated up. Now if this resistor is replaced by some other material, that is they have asked you to replace it by a motor, then if you are replacing it with the motor, this energy will be converted to mechanical energy. Why? Because the motor will start rotating or it will start moving, and that is why it will start moving mechanically. You use the term in that way, like it rotates mechanically, right? Motor is a mechanical object. Therefore, it is said that the resistance, if it is resistor is replaced by motor, then the form of energy will be converted to mechanical energy. Now we'll go to the next part. Now whatever energy was transferred to the resistor, it got converted into heat, as we learned now. Now that heat, what is the heat, what is the temperature? Like you cannot measure that heat in terms of temperature now. You need to have a different constant or a different letter to represent that, and what type of energy or what type of heat, how much heat is being consumed or is heated up by the resistor. So for that, to calculate that heat, we need to use the Joule's law of heating. Did you understand this? You have to calculate the Joule's law of heating. Now, how do you do that? Now listen carefully. This is a small derivation and it is really important. Pay attention to it. Now you know that the power, that is the electric power, is nothing but energy upon time required. So we learned now, like, what is energy? Energy is nothing but VAB into Q, and time required is T, therefore it becomes VAB into Q upon T. Next, you know that Q by T is I. You've learned it earlier in your lower classes, that Q by T, that is charge upon time, is nothing but your electric current, that is I. So therefore this, what it happens, VAB into I. Now let's give this name as statement 1. Next, the source of energy, that is the cell, gives in time the energy P into T to the resistor. Now from this, what can we say that? From this we can say that P, you know that P is energy upon time. So you can write energy is nothing but P into T. That is what they have given. What do they say? The source of energy gives in time the energy P into T to the resistor. So how much of energy is given to the resistor? P into T. If I is the current, if I is the current flowing continuously through the circuit, the heat produced in the resistor in time T will be what? Heat is equal to P into T. Okay, they have related this energy directly to the heat, therefore they have replaced this energy to H, and therefore what we can say, H is equal to P into T now. And you know what is P? P we've calculated here. P is VAB into I. So H is equal to P into T, and P is replaced by VAB into I into T directly. So we know that Ohm's law, V is equal to IR. So they have written this Ohm's law. VAB is equal to IR. So what can we write to H? H is equal to, we've replaced this VAB here as what? I into R. Therefore it becomes, therefore what it will become? Listen. So P is equal to, H is equal to P into T, VAB into I into T. According to Ohm's law, it is given there. Now what we have to do? We have to replace this I. Okay. So I'll just show you. So by Ohm's law, you know V is equal to IR. So what is I? I is equal to VAB upon what? R. You know, VAB into R. Now what will I do? I will replace this I by VAB by R. Therefore what will happen? H will be equal to, H is equal to VAB into, what is my I now? VAB by R. Okay, into my T as it is. Okay, so due to that, what will become? H will be equal to VAB into VAB, that is VAB square into T by R. So T by R as it is. Next, similarly we can do it in a different way also. So we have received one formula already, and that is VAB square into T by R is our one formula for H. The second one, how can we obtain it? There's a different method to do it. To obtain that, what we have to do is, now we have to replace this VAB. Okay, now we have to replace this VAB by I into R. So what will happen to it? That will become H is equal to what? VAB is replaced by I into R. So I into R. I am writing it down here. VAB. VAB is what? I into R, right? So your H will be become. Just cancel out this. Okay, so what will happen? Your H will be equal to what will your H be equal to now? I into R. I into R into I into T into I into T. Okay, so due to that, what will it become? I into I, that is I into I, it is written here, and R into T is written here, and therefore I into I is I square into RT. So your H, the second formula for H is H is equal to I square into R into T, is the Joule's law of heating. Okay, so there's a small thing, like think about it. How can we write mechanical power in a manner similar to electric power? Okay, so for that we know that the power, how is power mentioned? It is work done per time t. Okay, so you know that for mechanical objects it is always written that work is what? Fs, force into displacement, and for that angle part we write cos theta upon time. Okay, so it is always like, similarly we know that we write our electric power, we've learned now how to write the formula for electric power. For the mechanical power it is written in this manner. So the formula will be power is equal to work by time, we know that, and for work we know for mechanical things work is force into displacement into cos theta for the angle part upon t. So this is your formula for mechanical power. Okay, so in the next lecture we'll move forward to the heating effect of electric current. That's it for today. Thank you.